Yo guys, what's going on? Today we're gonna be talking about Alperen Sengun. We're gonna talk about his summer league performance and whether or not he's a Darkhorse Rookie of the Year candidate. Something very interesting to think about. So overall, I think Alperen Sengun's summer league performance was surprisingly amazing. I think after his first game, everyone fell in love with this kid. I mean, the whole vibe that he kind of outputs, especially with the whole free throw prayer, and it just adds something to Houston that we wanted to see from a big man for a long time. I freaking love this kid. I know everyone loves Jalen, but this guy is my favorite rookie right now, and just because of the way he carries himself, the way he plays with so much physicality, especially in the paint. That's exactly what you want in a big man. You don't want someone soft like I don't want to say Evan Mobley soft, but he's very passive. He doesn't try to body people. Sengun is there, bro. He wants to smoke. Doesn't matter who it is. He's built different, and I love it. I love every second of it. Let's just kind of break down like his game, what I like about it, what I don't like, what needs improvement. So the first thing that really stood out to me, or the thing that I love the most about Alperen Sengun, is the positive stuff that he does that doesn't show up in the stat sheet. And what I mean by that is setting screens, giving good ball handoffs, drawing charges, being in great positioning both offensively and defensively, whether it's for defending or for boards, what have you. But he is freaking fantastic at doing all the small stuff that you kind of like want role players to do, but when you have a superstar do it, or like when you have a potential star do it, he just looks amazing on the court. And there's just random stuff, like he even gets deflections and they go off the other person's leg and goes out of bounds, and that's a turnover. That should count as a steal, but it doesn't on the stat sheet because that's just the way it is. But I freaking love that about Alperen. The other thing is how polished he is as a player, especially mentally. Like he plays like he's a seasoned vet, and it shows that he was, playing against grown-ups in a Turkish league. It shows that he was the MVP of that league, like mentally, because he's not shy from like touching the ball. He's not shy from playing against some of these players or making some crazy outlandish passes. Like the friggin' pass to Jalen Green in the Cavs game where he went between the legs, or the pass in the Magic game where he went behind the back, and there was another pass where he did like a over the head behind the back kind of dime to, it was either Jalen Green or Josh Christopher, but that pass was beautiful. If it was a little bit ahead, that would have been a bucket, and it would have been all over House of Highlights. But yeah, and speaking of his passing, it's really good. I don't want to say it's Joker level passing, at least not yet, but the creativity in his passing, the ability to get assists on a nightly basis. More importantly, he can pass from anywhere, whether it's the top of the keys or from the low post. He's not really, looking to score all the time. You could say he's a point center at times, kind of like Joker, and it's really nice to see. The problem I did have with Alperen Sengun, and I don't know if it was him, I'm assuming it's the coaching staff, is he didn't get any, if at like he didn't get many touches in the low post, which I personally find irritating because I really want to see what this guy can do. That was one of his like big draws coming into the league, was that he's a walking bucket in the low post, and I really wanted to see him go there, but they just never like set him up for the low post plays. And in this past Magic game, they actually did. I think they ran him in the low post like 3 times, and literally every single time he was in the low post, positive things happened. On one, Josh Christopher got to the line when he should have really laid it up and in, and gave Sengun the assist. The other, Sengun got an easy bucket, and the third time he got to the line. So, and then we just went away from that for whatever reason. I don't understand, but I love what I saw from him in the low post. And something else that, I don't know, I was very impressed by was his defense and his defensive positioning, especially on pick and rolls. There were many times when the ball handler was trying to get Sengun on him so they could just get like an ISO easy one-on-one, but either his pick and roll hedge defense was really good and didn't allow the defender to switch, or he was able to pick them up one-on-one and just get them to pass the ball out and then switch back. So he was really good, and it was showing his IQ and his positioning, which was really, really well. And then kind of going back to what I was talking about before, not using Sengun right and his positioning, there are so many times offensively where Sengun was sealing off his defender in the paint really, really well. Like, he was sealed off. You could get a pass there. If he had Chris Paul as his point guard, this man would have been averaging 25 a game. Easy. Because the way he was sealing off his defenders, it was very, it just completely, baffled some of these athletic defenders that have really never seen a post player do that so quickly and effectively too. Like, there's just one play he was running pick and roll with Josh Christopher, and the pick and roll, like, it was just a bust. Like, the defensive played it perfectly, so Josh kind of was hesitant and then brought it back out to the 3-point line. But while he brought it out back to the 3-point line, Sengun literally got to the semicircle in the middle and boxed out his defender and sealed him off for an easy pass. So what I mean, if Chris Paul or LeBron was like playing with him, they would easily get the ball to him, and then he could either dunk it or lay it up. And I really wish, we had a true point guard, and I'm hoping John Wall can kind of embrace that true point guard mentality and use Sengun to his ultimate potential. But we'll see about that. Right? The things I didn't like about Sengun, or things I wanted him to improve on, is his shooting. Bro, if this guy learns to shoot, it's game over for the rest of the league, man. If he learns to shoot a mid-range and he learns to shoot a three-pointer, he's going to be a stud, and it definitely will be an all-star. The reason I say that is there were many times when he was running pick and roll with either Josh or Jalen or one of our other guards, and he would get the ball in the mid-range area, but he doesn't have a mid-range or a reliable mid-range shot, so he would just kind of dribble and then he would go in the post, but that's not really how he wants to enter the post, so he kind of gets in this awkward, gray area where he can't do anything, so he has to pass it out. And then there are times where he just has wide open shots, but he's not really looking to take them because he's just trying to pass the ball off. Speaking of a shot, there is something about the way this guy pump fakes. People just bite on his pump fakes so easily, and because of that, he's just able to drive on them and bully them and finesse them to the fucking bucket. And I don't know, I guess he has that knack for getting defenders to jump. But yeah, other than that, he was pretty good defensively. And offensively, that's probably my only, that's probably it, his shooting, man. And it's not like he doesn't have a touch. He has a touch. Also, his free throw shooting needs a little bit of work too. But he has a touch, and a lot of people are saying, like, oh, he's missing layups, he's doing this. But I think that's just him kind of getting used to the ball, because the ball is different in the NBA versus international play. And also just kind of, he's playing off the ball more than he is on the ball, so I think it's really hard to find a rhythm when you're not touching the ball, especially in basketball. But as for if I think that he can be a dark horse rookie of the year candidate, I honestly do think he can, and I think he could straight up win it, especially if he starts. Like, if they go into training camp and he is just destroying Tice on the offensive and defensive end, I don't think Silas has a choice but to start this kid. And that's what pumps me up the most, is him, getting coached by Silas. Because the thing is, both Stone and Silas, they were trying to move up to the 13th pick to grab Sengun because they didn't think he would fall beyond that. But he did fall, and they got him at 16. So I have this gut feeling that Silas has some sort of plan or scheme to incorporate Sengun's game into his offense. We know he loves playing 5 out, where all 5 defenders can shoot threes, and that's great for the offense because it pretty much opens the entire paint up for a ball handler or for the pick and roll. And additionally, if they do drive in, you can just kick it out to a shooter. But I feel like he wants Sengun to play in the low post and see what he can do to some of these NBA big men who honestly are not that experienced against the low post. We saw in the Olympics, big men were killing Team USA, and that was partly because Team USA was small, but partly also because, they just weren't experienced with some of the physicality and skills that these big men possessed, and that's what Sengun brings. Feel of physicality, table of skills that can get by defenders, whether it's a behind the back dribble or a bunch of spinning, moves on his foot. We'll see. And if he's averaging like 30 minutes per game, I would not be surprised if he outperforms Jalen Green. And I know everyone's hyped on Jalen Green. I know he's a star. He's gonna be a Rocket stud. But man, if Sengun gets the playing time and he produces, I don't know. I don't think it's gonna be hard to, it's gonna be hard to convince voters not to. And the media already loves him. I think he's like the one player outside of the lottery that is getting the most coverage. And all started because he was talking to the ball when he was shooting free throws. But he really has a shot to win Rookie of the Year, and I wouldn't be surprised if he does.